Hi friends, my name is Whitley. I am here with a message I feel God has put on my heart to share with you all. Not sure if this message is for one person or for several people, but I hope whoever it's for, stops and takes a minute to watch it. This is my first video that I've done for YouTube, so just bear with me. I'm not really used to speaking publicly, if this counts as publicly, but anyhow, I'm not used to speaking in front of a camera, and I'm not really used to telling my story to anyone besides the people who know me closely. So this has kind of been a battle for me with God. I've kind of felt it on my spirit for a while, and I've just kind of battled with it. But that's what the enemy does. He makes you feel like you're not qualified to speak for God, or you shouldn't be talking, or you don't deserve grace or anything. So that's actually what my message is about today. Grace. A lot of us neglect God and just kind of try to do things on our own because we feel God doesn't love us. We feel He doesn't love us because we don't deserve to be loved. We are sinful, and even though we know things are wrong, we still do them. So we're like, I can't go to God knowing that I'm out here sinning and I know these things are wrong. But let me just tell you, although we may have some kind of idea that things are wrong that we're doing, a lot of times the reason that we're doing them is because of past traumas and hurts, and just not knowing or understanding certain things about ourselves that God does understand. And that's where grace comes in. God knows us. He knows our soul. He knows, our spirit. He knows our mind. He knows our heart. He knows who we are. And He knows that we've gone through things that make us make bad decisions sometimes. Not saying that as an excuse, but if you don't know how to deal with something and you don't even realize that that something in your past is causing you to continue to live in sin, then how can you stop it? How can you change? So all God wants us to do is accept Jesus, accept His Son, acknowledge the fact that He loved us so much that He sacrificed His Son for us. As a parent, I can't imagine saying, I love this world so much, I love these people so much, that I will sacrifice one of my children to save them for the greater good, so that more people can join us, because I know at the end of the day, my child is going to come back to me and, be happy. But still, you have to put your child through all of these things here on earth that you would never want anyone to have to go through. But you do it anyways because at the end of the day, it's going to serve a greater purpose. So just think about it that way. God loved us that much that He said, I don't want my children to not have a way out. I don't want them to have to be stuck in sin. I don't want the enemy to continue to lie to them and convince them that they're not good enough when I still love them. So I'm saying all this to say that even if you're living in sin, even if you don't see anything stopping, when I came to God about a year ago, like I said, I got saved as a child, but or I don't know if I said that or not, but I got saved as a child, and I didn't really understand everything. I was confused about how to go to God, really how to pray, all of these things. So about a year ago, I decided I was tired. I was tired of doing everything my way. I was tired of, going from person to person trying to find someone to make me happy. I was tired of going out and partying so that I could feel happy for a minute. I was tired of drinking and just doing all these different things to try to basically feel a void and nothing was working. It might work in the moment, or really it didn't work, but I forgot about the problems that I had. So a year ago, like I said, I decided I'm done. I'm done with these cycles. I'm done with, all of this. And I honestly, if I'm being 100% real, I didn't want to give up a lot of the things that I was doing. I didn't really want to give up going out and partying. I didn't really want to give up hanging around certain friends and being in certain situations, sexual sin. I didn't want to stop having sex. I didn't want to stop dating. But I was tired of the same cycles again. I couldn't see myself continuing on the path that I was going that was getting me nowhere. Date this person for 6 months, 7 months, get to know them, fall in love with them or lust, whatever. And then realize, okay, we're totally not compatible, or they're not who I thought they were, or maybe I'm outgrowing them, or they're outgrowing me, whatever the case. It was like cycle after cycle after cycle. Relationship with this person, different type of person, but still just not going anywhere. So I asked God about it, and he showed me that, his way would work better for me if I would just commit to it. Like, stop trying to do everything on your own and trying to make yourself happy, because in reality, it doesn't work. It's just an endless cycle. You might level up a little bit because you've gotten a little wiser from your past mistakes, but then now you got to learn another lesson. So when God showed me that, I was like, okay, God, just help me out. Give me the discipline that I need. And the Bible does say, God will give us self-discipline. He provides self-discipline and love and joy and peace, amongst other things. So I asked God for it. Hey, God, you want me to stop doing all this stuff? Make it undesirable for me. Funny thing is, I started getting like super sick when I would drink. Just wasn't in the mood for it anymore. Like, I just couldn't. I would either get sick or I would get tired. Hungover the next day. And this started happening like within a month or so. Like, every time, I didn't go out that often at that point, but I would still drink like almost every weekend. So every single time, I'm like, the next day or even the night of, like, why did I do that? So again, it started being less desirable for me. I was still struggling with the sexual sin, and the times whenever I would fall into that, I would go to God and pray about it. Well, actually, no. Before that, once I would, have sex, I would feel so bad about it. I would feel like I can't go talk to God because he's going to be angry with me. He's going to be like, why did you do this again? Like, have you not learned your lesson? And of course, I was trying, but the flesh, and also a lot of the things that I was around people who were still drinking, and I was listening to music and watching music videos and watching TV shows that all glorified sex. So even if I was doing great at home, all it took was one wrong situation that might have started out as innocent to become me falling into sin. So, God started showing me these things as I was reading the word. And not only did he start showing me these things, but he started helping me to change, making me want to change. Of course, with God, you do have to have the will. You can't, God is not going to come into your life and just force you to be who he wants you to be. No, you have to be willing. You have to say, hey, God, I know I'm not perfect. I know I fall short every day, but I want to be better. Can you help me? And when you do that, God will help you. And he'll start showing you the things that, you know, may be tempting you or may be causing you to fall into sin. He will start showing you through people, you know, through the Bible, even ideas in your head. You know, he speaks to us, and a lot of times it just seems like an idea that we had, or, you know, maybe we went to sleep and had a dream and we wake up with revelation like, oh wow, I can do that, or, you know, maybe if I do this it'll help, and it does. So anyhow, I started reading my Bible more, and I started praying about things, and God started showing me that it wasn't, you know, all these things, all these laws weren't set to make us feel bad or, you know, make us hate ourselves. They were put there so that we can see the things that hurt us. You know, this leads to death. We think whenever it said that, you know, whenever I used to read the Old Testament, like, oh dang, so this is going to shorten my lifespan. But that's not necessarily the case. It may just be death to a situation that you really wanted. You know, something, you fell in love with this person because, or in lust, I should say, because y'all were around each other every day and having sex and just talking every day and just staying in communication. And then, you know, it becomes toxic. At the end, you start hating each other, you start not liking each other, but now you went too far. You maybe have gotten in a relationship and been with this person for years, and now you don't want to leave this person because you're scared. Or you may have even married this person, so now you've committed to them for the rest of your life and you're unhappy. When God had a plan for you the whole time, you know, if you had stayed on his course, you would have gotten a godly husband or wife, and you wouldn't have had to go through all those things. But so basically, I'm saying that to say it can bring death to situations that and blessings that God had for us. Not to say that God won't come back and bless us whenever we repent. He can do that. He can and he will if we do so, if we, you know, trust him to do that. But in the process of learning these things, you know, from reading the Bible, and like I said, from him speaking to me, you know, like I said, through dreams, which is the Holy Spirit guiding me, basically, helping me see things that I needed to see and understand. I started realizing, okay, wow, having sex is hurting me. Drinking is hurting me. It's not God. Yeah, of course, just like if you were to see your child falling off track and going down the wrong path, it would hurt you. But it hurts you because you know how much damage it's doing to your child. And that's why God gave us, you know, the commandments, because he wants us to see the things that he wants us to know, if we don't live by these things, if we choose to do whatever we want, we put ourselves under curses and we hurt ourselves. So the best way to overcome that is to ask God to help you. You know, don't listen to the lies, because the enemy will tell you, you know, even religion. If you go to certain churches, you're gonna hear it. Oh yeah, so and so was at the club last night, but they are in church today. Well, praise God that they are there, because they probably need more grace than some of the other people. You know, they probably need that message more than some of the other people, because they don't feel loved, and that's the reason that they're doing the things that they're doing. So, like I said, religion will have you thinking you don't deserve God, you don't deserve his love. But if you go into it for yourself, you know, get you a Bible that you can understand. I use NLT. You know, I compare it with King James Version, New King James Version, several different versions, basically, so that I can see the differences, especially as I've become a more avid reader. I'm able to kind of go between them and understand. But if you are a new follower of Christ, get you the NLT, something that speaks in plain today's language, so that you can at least, start receiving God's message for you. And as you do that, the Holy Spirit will help you. It will guide you not only through the Bible, but it will guide you through life. If you just stop and say, hey, God, or Holy Spirit, please speak through me. Guide me today. I am saying yes to you today. I am surrendering to you. I want your will, not mine. I don't want to continue to go through these same cycles trying to do it my way. So I'm here to tell you, like I said, there are going to be lies. The enemy's biggest fear is for you to actually realize that God loves you despite everything that you've done, because he knows once you realize that, you can start to walk in purpose. You can start to change. You can start to grow. You not only will you change, but you will want to change. It's not like God's going to be forcing something down your throat. You're going to be like, okay, oh, so this is why you told me to be patient. You had something else in mind for me. You were just preparing me for it. And whenever he starts showing up with them blessings and you start realizing, okay, I should have been trusting him. It's life-changing. It's literally life-changing. You don't want to, yes, you still will fall short some days. You still will have, normal feelings, and you will still have trials and things of that nature, but you will have a peace that comes with it. It's different whenever you're going through things and you don't have peace, you're depressed, you have anxiety, you're just worried all the time about what's going to happen. And then when it does happen, you're devastated about what happened, versus, okay, I'm going through something right now, but I know God is using that to teach me something. Or the enemy is trying to throw me off. He's trying to distract me from God's plan, but God's going to bring me through this. Whenever you know you're going to make it through the other side and you know that a blessing is going to come out of it, you're not going to be stressed out about it. Sometimes you may have moments, but overall, if you go to God and you pray and say, God, look, I am stressed, I am overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, help me. He will do that. You have to be consistent. You have to really talk to him and have that relationship. But he will help you. He will bless you. He wants to bless you. It's not, God ain't sitting up there like, let me hold on to all these blessings. No, he's not doing that. He wants to bless you, because guess what? If you turn your life around and you get your life right, not only will he bless you, but he can use you to bless other people. He can use you to bring the message to other people, to help other people find him, and to help other people understand that they are loved. And whenever people see those blessings on your life, they're going to look at you and say, oh, and in the beginning, and even in the end, there's always going to be haters, but there will be those people who are saying, well, he ain't really changed, or she ain't really changed, whatever. They're going to say these things, but you can't deny Christ on somebody's life. Like, if you saw where I came from to where I'm at now, nobody can deny that was God. I didn't do any of this. I didn't get here because of something I did that was so deserving. All I did was trust God and have faith in Jesus. All I did was believe that he died for me. All I did was recognize his love for me. Nothing else I've done is deserving. Yes, I try to be obedient to the best of my ability. Do I fall short? Absolutely. Every day. Every day. It is a struggle. I think that I'm doing great. I think that I got everything under control. And a moment goes by where, somebody might be gossiping, or just temptation may pop up, whatever. And I may engage in it unintentionally, and then realize, because I do have the Holy Spirit, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And do I feel bad about it in the moment? Yes, I do feel convicted, but do I feel condemned? Do I feel like I'm going to hell because of that? Do I feel so upset that I can't talk to God? No. I know if I do fall short, that's the moment I need to go to God and say, God, I am sorry. Can you please help me see where I'm going wrong? Help me to overcome this, because I don't want to be anything but what you've called me to be. I want to represent you well in the world so that people see me and they want to know you. And again, You know, whenever people see me and they see this peace that I have, you know, there have been friends that, you know, I wouldn't even say friends. I would say they were assignments whenever I met them. People that I wasn't even ever supposed to cross paths with. I somehow came across. And, well, I won't say somehow, but God put me in a position to help them because he knew that's what they needed in that moment. And because of the blessings on my life, they understood that what I was saying, or they believed what I was saying. You know, they looked at like, oh, she has peace. She has joy. Even though she said this happened to her this morning, she still has a smile on her face. She still came to work ready to help, ready to serve, ready to do everything that she came here to do. And they see that, you know, oh, look at the stuff that she's had. She's gone through all of this. And I share my testimony. I'm not ashamed. I share it because everything that I've gone through has built up to this point. God has literally turned my whole life around, and I am so appreciative of that. And the least I can do is tell my story so that I can encourage others. You know, hey, you might be going through this right now, but let me just tell you, God sent somebody here, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, another light in the world. He sent them. Sorry, y'all, I got seasonal allergies. This pollen is killing me. But anyhow, you know, people see the blessings on my life, and I tell them, this is nothing that I've done. I did not deserve these things. You know, again, I try to be obedient to the best of my ability, but we are not saved by righteousness. We are saved by Jesus Christ himself. And that's what we need. We can't get into heaven because we were a good person or we were a perfect person. That's not going to get us into heaven. If that was the case, Jesus wouldn't have had to die. If we had to keep up with the 10 Commandments and all the other rituals and customs in the Old Testament, Jesus would die for nothing. Why would God send him to die if we just needed to keep up with these laws so that we can get into heaven? And if that was the case, who would go to heaven? None of us, because all of us have fallen short. So I just came to encourage you today, you know, take it a day at a time. Start with talking to God and saying, hey, God, you know I've been out of touch. Even if you've been praying, you know, God, I know I haven't done everything that you've called me to do. You know, I want to work towards building a relationship with you. I want you to come into my life and show me how to live the way you called me to live. Start with that. Just say that every day. God, let your will be done in my life. God, help me to trust you. And people say, oh, you have to have trust. You have to have faith. You have to have all these things. You do. But if you pray about it, God will give you those things too. I pray that God will help me to trust him. And it was little small things, you know, at first, like you almost think they're coincidences, but whenever it's so many things just keeps happening, you know, of course, you know, it's God. You know, if I prayed this and I didn't tell anybody else and then it turns around and happens, you know, God isn't, again, he's not blessing me because of my obedience. He's blessing me out of love. And if he knows if he knows what is going on in my life and he knows that's something that's gonna help me to understand and put my faith and put my trust in him, he will do it, you know, because I'm having the faith in him for him to do it. I'm asking him, you know, help me get to the point where I need to be. And whenever we do that, you know, it just grows. And like I said, just start praying, God, you know, help me where I'm at. You see where I'm at. You know where I need to get to. Help me to get there. And start praying that every day. Get you a Bible, like I said, something that you can understand. And there's plenty of versions. You know, look at the reviews. Look and see what people are saying. If you are, you know, worried that you might get a copy or, you know, a version that's tainted or something like that. Just look at the reviews and see what people are saying about it. See what people are saying about the comparisons. Download the YouVersion Bible app. It has pretty much every version on there, if not every version. You can download it. You can compare them. You can compare the different versions side by side. If you don't want to go out and spend the money on a Bible, that's the perfect way to start. And I would say, do read more than a verse a day. I know a lot of people are doing that, and I am happy that you are reading your word, but please understand that you have to know at least what that whole chapter was about. A chapter can be a couple of paragraphs, but you need to know the context that verse was in. You can't really get the context a lot of times from just a verse. Sometimes you can, but a lot of times you need more. So definitely read more than a verse. Maybe read a chapter, or at least a couple of paragraphs, something like that. I would personally, for me, I started with the books of Paul. If you Google books written by Paul, everything will pop up that he wrote in the Bible. And then, or you can start with the Gospels that talk about Jesus's life here on earth. You can start anywhere, but for me, those were the starting points, and they really, like, the books of Paul really gave me so much hope, and also just wisdom and instructions on how to live my life. The Old Testament, I love it now that I've read the New Testament and I know about Jesus and everything. But whenever I tried to read that a long time ago, I was like, I'm gonna just close this up. And the reason I say that is because it is under the old law before Jesus died. So it talks about all these punishments and curses and, put to death, everything. And so it sounds like God is just out to get us, but that's not the case. If you know the New Testament and the Old Testament and you really dig into it, you can see how God was loving and patient, and he did try to work with us and deliver on all his promises to us. He did do that. And a lot of times it was just our disobedience. Pretty much every time, actually, it was our disobedience that led us astray. But you can start on the Old Testament if you feel that's where you're being led by the Holy Spirit. If you feel God is telling you start in the Old Testament, start in the Old Testament, because that may be for you, sis, or bro, whatever. But anyways, that may be for you. But for me, I started with the books of Paul. I read the Gospels after that, and then I kind of read through the New Testament I read it again, what I hadn't read, and reread the stuff that I had. I read the New Testament from beginning to end, and then I went back and started on the Old Testament. So that's what I did. Whatever works for you, definitely do that. But just make a goal. For me, when I started out, I said I want to read 4 chapters a day. That's usually not too bad, maybe 15, 20 minutes. But it can be dependent on the book, because some of them are really long. So just, you may have to adjust that. You may have to say, I want to read 15 minutes a day. I want to read 20 minutes a day. But whatever you do, set that goal and stick with it. You also want to worship. Worship is a big deal, because that's saying thank you to God. We can't give God a gift. We can't send up our money to him. Yeah, we tithe or, do things to help his people, but we can't do anything directly for him other than live for him and praise and worship. So definitely praise and worship, because not only does it, say thank you to God, but it also reminds us how great God is. If I'm sitting here, singing a song and it's telling me, don't worry, I am grateful, God, no matter what I go through, I know you're pulling me through this. I know you're working it for my good. That encourages me. If I'm going through a battle in that moment or in that stage of my life, that encourages me. It lifts my spirits, and something happens, in your home, wherever you are, like, you just really get filled up with the Spirit. So definitely want to do some praise and worship. There are literally thousands of different types of Christian music. So I wouldn't say thousands of different types, but I mean songs. But yeah, you got rap, and it's actually good. It's not just like the old stuff that didn't sound like anything we wanted to listen to. You have the, old school worship choir sounding songs. You have the contemporary Christian music. You have all these different things that you can listen to. There's something out there for you, trust me. Get on TikTok, look at songs Christian art or Christians should have on their playlist. I'm telling you, people on TikTok will put you on some good music. Shout out to y'all. Anyhow, definitely want to worship, whether it's on your way to work in the morning, whatever the case, just take some time out your day, cut on some music, sing to God, thank God. You can do it when you're by yourself. You can do it with, friends, whatever the case. You just want to make sure you do that. And also fellowship. I mentioned friends, you want to have support. So if you don't have any Christian friends, which when I started, I didn't, I wouldn't say I didn't have Christian friends, but I didn't have any friends that were walking. They believed, but they weren't like I did. They believed like I did, but they weren't walking closely with God, as in they weren't, necessarily reading their Bible every day. They weren't trying to resist sin at all. They just weren't trying to live the life that God was calling me to live. And no shame to them on that, because like I said, neither was I. And I still love them dearly. It's nothing like that. No shame. Whenever we are ready, we are ready. And whenever God calls us, we will get ready. So I fully believe anyone who hears this message, if this is for you, you will get ready. So again, if you don't have any Christian friends, I would highly recommend getting you some. Whether it's through social media, join some Christian pages on social media, add some Christian influencers, because you will find people people commenting, all these different people. And even if you aren't talking to those people frequently, having them on your page, having someone posting Bible verses and posting their testimony and posting inspiring things will encourage you. So you want to have that. Just like if you have videos of twerking and partying and cussing, I am not here to judge. Like I said, live the same life, still go through the same things. But if you have all those things on your page, you're not going to be able to overcome sin. So the best thing to do is to try, like I said, to add these Christian pages, add artists, celebrities that are, Christians. There are plenty out there. We don't really know until we start looking for it, but there is support out there. Another big thing, going to church, back to fellowship. When you go to church, it's not because you need church to know God. Church is where you go to worship God and to serve God and just, lift him up, and also get other perspectives on things that you might have read in the Bible and you might not have really understood, or you might have thought, oh, that didn't apply to me. But then the pastor gets up there and delivers the message on a verse or a chapter that you just read last night, and it absolutely applies to you, and now you see why you needed to read it. And then you have, your other church members. They are support. You need support. We all need support. Like, you can't walk this path. I mean, yeah, you can walk it alone, but it's so much easier when you have someone that can pray for you whenever you're going through things and you want to turn back to your old ways. It's so much easier when you have someone to encourage you whenever you're, just even if you're doing good things. You want someone there that's going to say, I am so proud of you, keep doing that, encouraging you. And yes, it is through God that you're doing these things. I'm not saying boast or anything like that, but having someone to keep continuously encourage you, just remind you that you are walking a good path. When you are walking as a Christian in this world, I am telling you right now, there is gonna be some people that are just do not like you or do not like what you believe. You know, they always have I cannot tell you how much negativity negative feedback. Oh, well, I don't believe in the Bible because people wrote it, or Christians are always trying to push their beliefs on people. Meanwhile, they're trying to push their beliefs on me, and I didn't even, tell them they had to believe anything. I'm simply stating what I believe, and I guess because they felt convicted or offended or whatever, they would say things that were negative about me. So, walking in this world is very hard. Even those people that mean well, but don't have the direction to tell you, those people that may give you some good worldly advice, but it's not really God's way. Like, for instance, if you are, married and your spouse is out doing something that you don't want them to do, and that friend is like, well, pay them back. Go do this, go do that. And then you end up hurting them, and y'all end up hurting each other, and now there's a wedge between you, and now your marriage is likely to go through divorce, things of that nature. So you basically want to meet friends, have that church family that can encourage you to walk the right path, to do the right things, basically godly counsel. So you want to have that. So church is a good place to find friends. It's a good place to find fellowship. It's a good place to find like-minded people, and to get ideas and gather understanding, to even provide influence, because you're gonna need to talk to somebody. If God called you up, you better believe he's gonna be using you. So I'm not saying you got to do what I'm doing right now, but your friend may be going through something and you may be called to minister to that person. Whatever the case, you can do that in church. You have that support, and you can be that support for others. And also serving. You want to serve others. The commandments now, Jesus said the commandments is love God and love your neighbors as you love yourself. So that means we got to be out here serving. We have to help others, whether it's provide for financial need, food, just support, talk to, service, whatever the case. We are here to serve each other. So you can do that through church. You might feel alone and you might not want to go out and start feeding the homeless by yourself. You might feel scared, or you might feel embarrassed, or anything, if it's just you. But if you're with the church, you feel good. You feel a lot better whenever you're going out and serving with, serving your community with your church. So that's definitely a big deal. So you want to, again, first surrender. Ask God to help you to walk the path he's called you to walk. Read your word and pray. That's building the relationship with God. You need to know the word to know God. I know people say, my relationship with God is personal. He talks to us through the word. The Bible is literally the living word. I can tell you right now, I've read something and went back and read it again a month later and got something totally different from it. It is living. Whatever you are going through in that moment, it speaks to you. So you do have to read the Bible. God does not always speak to us in a clear voice, and he's not going to keep telling us stuff that he already put in the Bible for us. So get you a Bible. Read the Bible. Please read the Bible. And just, before you read the Bible, I will pray, God, open my heart to this. Help me receive this message. Help me receive whatever you need me to see. And again, you know, fellowship, being with godly friends, things of that nature, having support, and watching the things that you take in. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to wake up. I mean, although God can, typically whenever we have things that come fast, they go fast. So God's way is usually to teach us, you know, through life lessons and just, you know, reading the Bible, and again, talking to us talking to him and trusting him. So it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to take things a day at a time. You know, that's a good thing. It's one step at a time. You don't have to rush into everything. You don't have to be perfect. All you have to do is be willing. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm already at 40 minutes, but I just want to tell you all, God loves you. I love you. Do not believe the enemy's lies. You are deserving of God's love. He sent his son to die for you because he loved you so much. So do not let this world fool you into thinking that you're not deserving. You are, and you can do this. I believe in you. Again, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but I hope whoever watches this, please, you know, listen and just take it in and pray that God, you know, test it. Tell God, you know, ask God to show you, confirm this word for you, and, you know, walk it out. And I just want to say, if you enjoyed this, you know, if you have any questions or, you know, comments, please comment below. If you want to see more, subscribe. You know, let me know in the comments you want to see more. Let me know what you want to hear about. I'm also on Instagram, and my Instagram is God_within her. I will put that below, as well as my TikTok. So come back and see me. Let me know how it's going. Please testify. If there's something that you want to add, you know, go ahead and add. I love you guys. Y'all have a good night.